So Monica Lewinsky is really what put Drudge on the map. And you point out in the show, most people think Matt Drudge broke that story. And he did break the Monica piece of it, did he not? Because I'll tell you my experience of this. I mean, I was not in media. I was just a kid. But I was a lawyer. And shortly thereafter, when I got to Fox News in 2004, Britt Hume told me this personally, that the reason Special Report launched the night it did was because Drudge broke the Monica Lewinsky story, and they understood at Fox this was huge, and they had no choice but to like fire up an engine, the Special Report show, that they were not yet ready to put on the air, but they're, you know, Fox is kind of, it was a startup to begin with. They're like, let's fucking do it, you know? So they did it, and the show is still going strong and now hosted by our friend Brett Baer. Anyway, Matt Drudge got that whole thing started, and I see in the piece Michael Isikoff, who writes for Newsweek, who actually had the story but was told by his publisher, Newsweek, to hold it. He's kind of like, he didn't really break it. You know, I broke the piece about being investigated by the Justice Department for, you know, but it really was a Matt Drudge thing.
Well, Matt Drudge pushed it into the open in a way that Newsweek was hesitant to do. There were lots of details swirling around at this time. And yeah, in the finer points, Isikoff had quite a few scoops, and he's a fantastic reporter. He's now at Yahoo News. But the point with Drudge was that Drudge made this story impossible to ignore. There was no more, hey, should we hold this story? Should we check it? Everyone had to run after the story. Television shows had to be launched. You know, it thrust the ships to war, as it were, in a way that might not have happened in such an abrupt way. It could have been a little drip, drip, leakier. We don't exactly know. But what it certainly did was put legacy news organizations on their toes. And they realize in the internet age, if we don't break this, somebody else will. And I think it pushed us into a digital era that we were in a different universe before Drudge broke this. And for that,
you could title the biography of Matt Drudge Game Changer. I mean, you really could. It could just be called Game Changer, because he really has been. Here's Isikoff from the podcast. This is a clip from episode 2, Finding Matt Drudge, where Isikoff talks about it all. Take a listen.
You had the scoop, and why was it not run? Why was it delayed?
Basically, they were nervous. I mean, the editors, you know, this was like they wanted to know everything, but like, well, wait a second, like, you know, can we really report that Clinton, you know, has been having an affair with an intern? The story was going to come out. It's a question of how and when, right? But the fundamentals were already there. It was just too explosive. They couldn't handle it. It was too big to report.
Well done. So, I mean, kudos to him, because he did do great reporting on it. It was just Newsweek that didn't have the appetite. And so that's the thing about Drudge, because he puts up the red siren above the Drudge report, and everyone in news is like, holy shit, Drudge has got the siren up. We all have to pay attention. And one day, he did that involving yours truly. And this would lead to my encounter with him. So it was 2013, and my son, Thatcher, had just been born in July. And I had struck a deal with Roger Ailes to, when I returned from maternity leave, join the Fox News primetime and take over the 9 p.m. spot. And it was to be kept secret. I certainly wasn't going to blab it to anyone. I didn't want to screw up my own career or cross my boss in that way. And I was online one day in our little townhouse we had, and boom, there was the news on the Drudge Report. And I remember it like, oh my God, like, how does he know? Because I knew, and Roger knew, and almost nobody else knew. And it said something like, Megyn to primetime. And I never found out, but shortly thereafter, it must have been, you know, between 13 and 17, because that's when I left Fox, I saw Matt Drudge in the green room outside of Sean Hannity's studio on a night. I think he was going on Hannity. And I said, Matt Drudge, I'm like, how you doing? I said, someday you're going to have to tell me who told you that news. And he said, I promise you, someday I will tell you. And then I haven't seen him again. So I'm really kind of hoping that someday, it was like maybe after the person dies. He didn't tell me what the condition would be, but he felt like he was in a position to actually at some point share it with me, which I'd love to know. If he gets back to me, I'll let you know. But anyway, it's just another testament of how he gets stuff no one has.
Yeah, he is remarkable at that. And I think, Chris, in one of the episodes, I believe it talks about how Trump secretly would have things leaked to him after telling people, don't leak this anywhere, keep this secret. But when the doors are shut, he would have someone give it over to Drudge. And part two, curry favor with someone he viewed as so influential, which is Matt Drudge, and which is why from the very beginning of his campaign, as Chris mentioned, they tried to court Drudge as a supporter, and it certainly worked in the beginning.
And he would send Drudge personal notes too. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, of course.
Trump would write personal notes to Drudge. He would have the Drudge report.
He does that with all of us.
Yeah, I got one myself. It's on my office desk here. Yeah. But he would print the Drudge report and then write little notes like "Great story, Drudge." The personal attempt was very real in going after him.
What Donald Trump was sending me when I was in the primetime of Fox, almost invariably, were stories about himself in the newspaper that he would then sign. He'd just mail them to me. Like, okay, thank you. But he would call me also to compliment various news segments he had seen on the Kelly File.
I have one from Trump that says, "Chris, you're a bad reporter." Signed, Donald Trump.
With love. Okay, yeah. Can we just spend 1 second, because we're talking about Monica Lewinsky and the whole Bill Clinton affair. She's actually back in the news. Do you guys see this? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen this, but she just got the Elle treatment. She's got this huge spread in Elle magazine as like the next supermodel. And these young people over on TikTok, et cetera, are reacting to her as though she is a hero. She's modeling Reformation clothing. And the young folks today are so incredibly excited about Monica Lewinsky, who, for the young people watching this show, is famous, or I do believe the word is infamous, for having an affair with a married man who happened to be the president of the United States, whom she admitted to aggressively courting by showing him her thong and bragged about her, quote, presidential knee pads before she had even met him. So she was excited to go into the White House and get it on with the all too willing sitting president of the United States. She was outed. One thing led to another. He lied about it under oath, and he was impeached but not convicted, similar to Trump. And her name became synonymous with blowjobs. That's what happened. I mean, that's all she gave him. They didn't have actual conventional sex. And to get a Lewinsky became synonymous with getting a blowjob, which was embarrassing, I'm sure, for her. But now she's resurfacing as like the new heroine to the young folks today. I'll give you a sample of one of these TikTokers. I don't know, 19 or 20, whatever you guys think is better.
I am not going to lie. I had zero idea who this woman was. So I had to do a little bit of research. And this is Monica Lewinsky. And she's pretty iconic. So she is the woman that Bill Clinton had an affair with. The woman where Hillary Clinton got cheated on. But Reformation basically partnered with Monica Lewinsky and Voter.org to bring awareness with voting for the election for 2024. So this collab is truly iconic. The fact that she is promoting voting. Well, she had a literal affair with Bill Clinton. Icon. Legend. Like, get that bag. But can we take a moment for the red dress, the red tights? Like, I know Hillary Clinton is shaking in her boots right now. Like, I know Bill Clinton is peeping. Like, he's lurking. He's like, oh, that's Monica Lewinsky. She looking absolutely fire, Pookie.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. I prefer my female heroes to have actually done something heroic for womankind. I'm glad Monica Lewinsky is doing okay, but she's not it. Jamie, thoughts?
Well, first of all, the language just makes me feel old. Collab and get that bag. I mean, this is a different era. I guess I am getting older. I don't know what to say to that. It's so bizarre that Monica Lewinsky is being brought out again so long, so many years later. My only thought is that hopefully that bodes well for the show. If people are figuring out about Monica Lewinsky, maybe Drudge podcast, but will be next up their alley.
Let me tell you a story about a guy named Leo Grillo. Leo was on a road trip and came across a Doberman. This dog was severely underweight and clearly in trouble. Leo rescued the dog and named him Delta. Sadly, Delta was just one of many animals that needed help, and this inspired Leo to start Delta Rescue, the largest no-kill, care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. They've rescued thousands of dogs, cats, and horses from the wilderness, and they provide their animals with shelter, love, safety, a home, dedication, and everlasting love to animals. That's Leo's mission and his legacy. Delta Rescue relies solely on contributions to stay open. And if you want caring for these animals to be part of your legacy, speak with your estate planner because there are tax benefits too. You can grow your estate while letting your love for animals live well into the future. Check out the estate planning tab on their website to learn more and speak with your advisor. We call dog a man's best friend for a reason. You can help those who need it most. Visit deltarescue.org today to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.